Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Everyman again, and I am here for part 2 of my head cheese making. If you haven't seen the first part, I will link it in the description below, and you can see like all the ingredients and such that I put in my big stainless steel pot here. And so what happened was, in that video I put all the veg and the pig's feet and the pig's head and some other scrap pieces of skin that I had with the water and the vinegar and everything that's in the description of that first video. And I put it on about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. At just a very low simmer. It simmered very low. It was not rolling to the top, but you could look in there and just kind of see the upward motion, the convection cell, so to speak. Anyway, so you could see the little bubbling happen. I stirred it from time to time. I made a short of that also. I stirred it and the pig's head came up. It kind of startled me a little bit. I think it startled a couple of viewers too, because I had some not so nice comments about, they didn't expect to see the hog's head, even though it said hog's head in the video. But anyway, we will look past that. There's a hog's head in this pot. There are some trotters in this pot, and I'm going to pull them out in this video. So if I need to give that disclaimer as a graphic warning or something, then there's my disclaimer, okay? So it's been boiling a long time, so probably the hog's head, definitely the trotters, are not going to resemble what they did in that original video, and the hog's head is probably not going to resemble itself either, because from about 1 p.m. until I think about 8 last night, 8:30, I let it just really slowly boil. Simmer is a better word. Anyway, so what I'm going to do today, what I did at that time is I turned it off. I turned the fire off underneath the pot and then just let it sit overnight, so that this morning it is not quite room temperature. I mean, I can feel the pot. I moved it without any, gloves on it, but I can feel the pot and it's still a little bit warm. So that'll be fine. I don't like touching all this cold stuff anyway. But what I'm going to do in this video is this. I'm not going to show you the final product in this video. This is just going to show you like how I separate everything out from the pot in kind of like step 2 of making a big batch of hog's head cheese. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me get this ladle out of here and drop it over into the sink. Forgot to do that, so there we go. So that's over in the sink, and what I need to do now is get my pieces, my stuff out of here. And I'm going to put, I've got this fancy schmancy ladle grid thing. I don't know what you call this, strainer thing that my husband picked up at a flea market. He does all kinds of like frying outside and grilling outside. He did the hog, where we got this hog's head, he did the hog in the Cajun microwave. I might be frying parakeets in another video, since they start screaming. The minute I start trying to make a video for you, they start screaming at me. So anyway, forgive the bird noises. It's just what normally goes on in my head when you're not around. Anyway, so you don't have to have a fancy thing like this. We have one because we pick it up at flea markets and such when we are out. These are just like slotted spoons that you can get from Kroger or something, my favorite department store, or just, tongs. And so what I'm going to do is just pull out these pieces of meat and try to separate the meat from the veg. I've got a smaller bowl where I'll try to put the veg. I've got another bowl and my mother's old-fashioned colander, old plastic colander that just fits right. It wasn't made together, but it just fits right down into one of my stainless steel bowls really well. So I'm going to try to separate the broth that way. So here goes. Let's see. I'm going to use this big thing that my husband has. And let me try to pull out. And I touch my food, okay, y'all? I don't have gloves on. My hands are actually clean. Some of my other videos where I'm gardening and all that kind of stuff, you will notice, and people have commented on, my fingernails are dirty. They're not dirty right now, okay? But anyway, this hog's head does look a little bit intact. I'm gonna go ahead and touch it. And there he is, or she. and some of the skin falling off. So I'm just gonna let it kind of drain a little bit and put it in my pot over here, because later I'm gonna pick all the meat off and all the skin and the tongue and everything, the brains even. And so I'm gonna put it over here and save all the meat stuff in that bowl. Sorry for the noise. And let me see if I can find the trotters. Okay, so I'm pulling out a whole bunch of the veg at the same time. Let me see, this is my lemongrass. Let me go ahead and pull that out and put it in the veg bowl. Get that separated at least. I see a couple carrots in here. Anyway, I'll have to separate that later. I'll do that. I won't bore you with that. I'll do it later. But let me see. Yeah, so I see, oh yeah, here's the cinnamon sticks. I can easily pull that out and toss it. Oh, some of the star anise, I'll toss that. Anyway, yeah, so I see, I'm gonna leave some of the veg in there anyway, like the carrots and the onions and the garlic and stuff is gonna be all chopped up. But some of the bones, well, what I'm gonna do later is separate the bones out from all this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put everything in this big bowl and do all that off camera. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of the big veg out and some of the meat. There we go, some of the bones. Okay, so anyway, I've got most of this out now, I think. Get another big spoon of stuff and toss it here. And now what I'm gonna do, I don't know if all this will fit in my small bowl. I'm gonna see if I can pick this up. And yeah, I can. And dump it in here through the colander. Colander will fill up with stuff. And, oh gosh, this smells so good, y'all. I wish you could smell it. Anyway, so this colander is catching some of the solids. Let me stick this over here. I'm gonna need another bowl for the rest of that. Do I have one? Yeah, I do. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here's another bowl for the rest of this. Move this one out of the way. And put my colander back here. Ooh, that's easier to pick up now. Okay, so let me pour this out. That is a lot of broth, y'all. That is wonderful stuff. Okay, so there's some solids still back down in there. I'll stick it in here. Well, my plan to separate the veg from the meat right here on video with you did not go very well, but that's okay. I will be doing that later. And what I'm gonna do with all of the soft parts, like the skin, I'm probably gonna separate the skin from the meat and have meat and skin in two different places and chop it all up so I get like the right ratio. I'll show you after I've chopped it all up. But I'm even gonna take, oh look, his little nose is coming right off. I'm even gonna take his little nose and separate that, that skin from all the soft meat inside. And I'll have all of that as my mise en place, if you want to get fancy, for the next video. And then I'm gonna save some of this veg, like here happens to be a piece of celery that's still recognizable and some carrots here. There's onions and garlic in there. So I'm gonna save some of this too and chop it up very finely to include it in with the meat mixture. And then this broth, I'm going to take it outside. Actually, we're in the middle of winter here and it's very cold, and so I'm going to put it in a pot, just the broth, and let it sit overnight. So this is day 2 of my head cheese video. So yesterday I prepped it and let it, you know, boil, like I said, and then took it off this morning. Let it sit overnight to kind of cool down. Took it off this morning. And so I'm gonna separate all of this stuff using my hands. It's very therapeutic. I really suggest that if you like to cook, you touch it. I really like to do that myself, but yeah, anyway, I'm weird that way. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow is put everything back together after the broth has congealed and become a gelatin and separated too. What I want it to do is I want the fat to rise to the top top, and some of the solids that are still in the broth, I want that to sink to the bottom. And then I'll be able to kind of skim off definitely skim off the fat. I'll save that fat for cooking, and then definitely cut the solids off the bottom, so I'll have relatively clarified broth in the middle, gelatin-like broth, and that's what I will melt and pour into the tureen to make this like a loaf, so that we can slice it and have it for breakfast or a snack or lunch or dinner or whenever, picnic, boat ride, whatever we might want to do, it'll be there for us. Okay, so I guess I'll see you next time when we do another installment of this. Please check in the description so you can see the first part. And in the third, let me see, this is part number 2. Yeah, so the second part is this one. And then in the third part, I'll link all those videos. So whichever one you pick up with, you can go ahead and watch the whole process. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.